And we're live.
Hey everyone.
Hi everyone.
Hey,
Thanks for joining, Rusty.
I'm glad to be here. I'm glad you guys asked me again.
Yeah, we're very happy to have you on. I think the first time you were live with us on a live hang was last year in September. So about a year later,
about a year. So
it's
It
pretty cool.
happened, yeah.
And quite a lot happened at your channel, right?
Yeah. I grew a little bit and learned some stuff along the way.
Yeah, we had one of your viewers watched the live stream we had last year and commented, and then he subscribed to our channel as well. And he was asking, how many subscribers did you have back then, Rusty? I think you commented as well. And we were guessing, how much was it? Like 10,000, maybe 12,000. And now you 5 times as much. You're close to 65,000 subscribers. So congratulations on that. That's a great
Thanks so
success.
much. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, it's just again learning a lot along the way and just having a blast because you guys know I love to play and teach, and it's I'm doing what I love to do. You know, the tech side I kind of suffer a little bit, but it's when I'm playing the guitar, everything's good.
Yeah, and I think that comes across in the videos, and it seems like you really fit a great niche in terms of tutorials, because there are a lot of tutorial channels out there, obviously, but you're targeting not the beginners, but beginners can also benefit from your lessons, but it's at the intermediate player, just like your description says. And I think that's just ideal. If you're stuck in a rut, if you don't know where to go, I also enjoy the length of your videos. It's just the small bites and ideas, and it's just great tutorials.
Great to hear. Yeah, great feedback there. You know, I do try to keep them somewhat medium to short because you know, a long video doesn't go very well a lot of times. So,
and the thing is, you're focusing on ideas. I really like that. So you have an idea, you focus on that idea in your lesson, and it's something you can try, put into your routine, and work on that one. And yeah, it's a really great schedule that you're building there. So
that's great to hear it. Yeah, and definitely the intermediate player. But I'm finding out a lot of beginners think they are intermediate and probably aren't. You know, it's just we should be learning, you know, at least the notes on the fretboard and basic theory as a beginner, and many people are not doing that. And I didn't do it, you know. So you kind of suffer along the way. You really aren't really grounded or connected, you know, just playing some chords and pentatonic scale, let's say. You're kind of just, you know, poking along. It's a turtle's pace, though, if you are not connected with that fretboard. That's how I think, anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just essential to know the notes on the fretboard and to navigate. And
there's so many players that are, you know, subscribed to my channel that really don't know, you know, maybe a few of them, but it's but you don't get as much out of YouTube lessons that way, and you're really it's very hard to be connected that way.
Yeah, I agree.
So shall we say hi to the folks in the chat?
Let's do that.
Nice.
Do the roll call. The first was Charles 75N.
Hey, buddy.
Hey Charles, thanks for joining once more. Then
I will skip you.
Yeah, there was some guy like L&M Guitar Corner, don't know him, never heard of him.
Let's go to Ryan Hall.
So Ryan Hall, our music in-law and brother. I love that.
Amen.
I love that term that he created, music in-law.
From
nice.
The community based around Ben Coombs.
Yes,
it's used there, this expression, for the family of musicians that hang out there.
Nice.
That's a cool term.
Then we have Trev.
Symmetry.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
Saying hi and smash the like. Appreciate it. Thanks, Ryan. Road is also here. So I read the next comment already. Sorry. Thanks, Trev, of course.
Rody's Jam Cave. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Rody.
If you have some videos from him, he has probably one of the most amazing jam caves.
He does.
It's
really cool. Like a great vibe. As soon as you click on the video, there's a vibe there. I love it. Yeah, I wish my studio looked like that. Really, just an
Who doesn't?
inspiration.
The size as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's true. It's a cave for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. And my buddy Franz is also joining us.
Nice. So he listened.
Yeah, he listened.
Great.
For once, he listened.
Come on.
And he says
Oh yeah,
he has just
I watched
today
a
watched the
Rusty
video.
video. It was nice. Great.
Good to hear. Thanks, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Billy Nilly.
Willy nilly.
That's a new
Thanks
name for
joining.
me.
Yes.
Maybe coming over from your channel. Hi.
Nice.
Billy.
I appreciate it, Willie. Yeah.
And Rogelio
Ibarra.
Ibarra
Anaheim.
from LA.
From LA.
Anaheim. Ah,
Anaheim.
you've just been there.
I've been there in April. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Great.
So, all guys in the chat, feel free to ask questions. We've set it up so we can ask Rusty questions. And yeah, also if you have questions for us, just shoot them. And
Of course.
I'll start with a topic.
Burning under your nails.
So I'm burning under my nails. Just grabbing your guitar once more, Lukas, because I've been thinking about doing something radical. We have a band at work, and yeah, now we are 3 guitar players, and more than ever, I've noticed that I have to reduce on notes that I'm playing when we are 3 guitar players. So
For
I have
sure,
to make sure that everyone has their pocket and plays in their space. And so what I've started is to just use the D, G, and B string and use the triads there. So for example, for No Woman, No Cry, I'm playing.
Maybe you need an acoustic. It's
Yeah,
a
I'm not
bit-
sure if it comes through.
I'm not hearing the electric part of it.
Yeah, it's not we haven't plugged it in an amp. So yeah, I'm just using D, G, and B and playing the triads there.
Yeah, take the Larry V. Do
Okay.
you need a pick?
No, I'm just using my fingers.
Yeah, that helps huge because you got other people that are probably chunking along a little bit in another player, and you definitely want a couple players doing that same thick sound. So that's and then you're probably doing that clean on the electric too.
Yes.
It just probably sounds
Exactly.
great.
I'm using then, depending on what I'm having with me, a clean Marshall. And yeah, I've noticed that I'm heard a lot more than the others with just doing this, even though I'm playing sometimes even only half the volume. But it's very clear to hear what I'm playing. So I hear myself very well with this. And my thought is, I'm not sure if you think this is a good idea for practicing, just to get all these triads to know better, to just remove the other strings. So I have only D, G, and B and force myself to play just on these strings.
That is definitely radical.
I'm hiding my string cutter now.
Can we watch you cut the strings? I don't know if I'd recommend that, but really confining yourself to a string set is very good because you're going to see all those shapes as you move up the fretboard, in that block of strings. And I'll just shifting that one string over to, let's say, the top 3, it's like a whole nother set. But they are all connected, with the cage system or however you visualize the fretboard.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't use the cage system, but I still visualize things in that way, just looking at more of the full chord and seeing that there's pieces of the string in each string set. There's a piece of that chord, basically.
Yeah.
I
That's also
guess
the way I'm visualizing it.
Yeah. Over time, that's just how I look at it. I wish I would have done it way earlier in my early on, for sure. Yeah, because it's such a you can use triads and small chord shapes in your solos, rhythm playing, and even just lead fills and things like that, double stops, and it's a whole, it's a whole world that I didn't even, the first several years, didn't even look at all. And it's like that for a lot of players, for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know about cutting the strings, but
yeah, the idea came to me when I thought about Keith Richards, because
you're right. He did it.
He cut the low E string because he doesn't need it, and just
he didn't want to take a chance. He didn't want to hit it.
And and it's also with if you're thinking about it, a lot of these cigar box guitars in open G are also just D, G, and B, right?
Three
strings. So this is where I thought, maybe also just for practice and also with the band, just confine myself for, let's say 3 or 4 rehearsals, just to be forced to play within there. And because I find myself, probably like many players, I'm going to confine myself, and after 2 or 3 songs, I'm like, I'm back to my old habits.
That's a lot. All of us go through that for sure. It's really just comes down to what you really practice on, what you really focus on when you practice. And, for song, if you're actually doing songs, just getting your parts down for each part of that song. But every guitar player needs to do that. So they're, you're not like, locking horns to each other and sound. It shouldn't sound, you should hear everybody. It's a tough thing. 3 guitars is not an easy thing to pull off, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you were the only guitar player at the beginning of that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, that's a big difference for sure.
So first I was struggling to fill all the space myself, and find my place there, and switching from the lead to the rhythm, and now I have the opposite extreme. I feel fairly comfortable when I'm with a second guitar player, but now with 3 guitar players, I'm not really comfortable currently still with being the sole guitar player, except for a few, very few guitar pieces, but for a few songs. And with 3 guitar players, we are trying to find each other.
Yeah, it would definitely, even just you guys setting, aside, not even with the other bandmates, just really honing in those parts. It's something that's pretty important to come across, and just so you're not stepping all over each other, and the vocals and all that stuff.
Yeah,
true.
For sure.
We have a question from Rogelio asking, so as a beginner, if he loves learning off of YouTube, but would you, Rusty, recommend to find a teacher for lessons? So he's probably talking about in-person teacher, so personal teacher.
When you say beginner, is that beginner just learning chords still? I guess it definitely depends on the level. And I don't do private lessons myself. I'm kind of selfish with my time. but there's so many great YouTube teachers that do, like online lessons. And that's probably what I would recommend, is just find a YouTube teacher that you visually, connect with. And a lot of them do private lessons, and even just getting into their Patreon page and getting the extras that they have. But there's so many. I'm just trying to think, beginner ones. I'm just not real familiar with all the names. But I would search out somebody that you connect when you watch a video. You either kind of connect or you don't. For a lot of people, so I would recommend searching that out a little bit for sure.
So I personally didn't have a teacher when I was learning. I just used the structured beginners course, And I think when you stick to that program, you really get a solid foundation. And from there on, you can branch out to whatever interests you.
Right. That, and you have to be excited about the direction you're going in with the guitar, so you keep learning. But I was just shown some chords myself. My uncle just showed me a few chords and said, I'll talk to you in a couple weeks. So, I really did work on those, and, they showed me the bar chords and then the pentatonic scale. And I wanted to prove to him that I could do it. So but that's where I got into the, just the kind of box pentatonic locked in that little area of the neck, and really didn't learn the notes of the fretboard. So just highly recommend learning the notes as a beginner. Learning the notes, even as you're learning chords, just make sure you at least know what the root note of the chord is, and kind of you can build on that. You don't have to memorize the entire fretboard all at once, and I don't recommend that because it's overwhelming. But just at least the chords that you're using, learn those notes and the root notes. I say that funny. People make fun of the way I say root notes, but it's so important.
It's your trademark.
I'm good with it. I have fun with it because it is what I really build my little solo phrases from the root note of some of the chords. I might not play it, but I'm still looking at that block of notes around the root note all over the fretboard. I just try to instantly see that little box shape in 5 different areas of the neck and be able to slide to that. And because it does sound different when you play a lick in different areas of the neck, and you go after different notes and bending and that kind of stuff, for sure.
We have a few more questions. Also, willy-nilly asked, what cities are both of you from? Not sure if he's referring to us. We are both in Rankweil. It's not a city, it's a small village in Austria. So
a village. Nice.
I answered that.
Yeah. Oh.
It's okay. Yeah. It's a town. It's 11,000 people. So it's not really a small village. We have much smaller villages.
Yeah. Well.
Yep. And I'm right outside Chicago in a town called Aurora, Illinois, not Aurora, Colorado, but it's just right outside Chicago. And I just say Chicago because it just, like I was talking to the guys earlier, just it sounds more exciting. Yeah, I'm from Chicago, man.
Big city.
Yep.
Seth also here lurking in the chat because he's at work. Hi, Seth.
Working? You should be working.
I'm at work. Lurking at work.
Nice.
And Han36 Solo said that in-person guitar lessons are vastly superior. That might be the case.
I think so, yeah.
Because the thing is, the teacher can, of course, correct you. That also works with online lessons, like you mentioned. If you get a teacher and you can do Skype lessons, then it's at least some way to interact. But in person, it's probably easier.
Yeah,
I definitely
feedback-wise.
Let's ask Franz. He's doing the lessons with me on Skype mostly, and the few times that we had it live. Maybe he writes in the chat.
Oh yeah, would be interesting to know.
Yeah.
There's no doubt that's the best lesson you're going to get, is somebody you connect with that you're one-on-one, right face to face. By far the best. The next step down is definitely a Skype lesson where you at least get to interact.
Yeah.
So YouTube lessons you're really removed, but besides the little comments you can make, it's a tough thing to really learn. You have to really be going after a certain topic, and it's hard to learn from beginner to advanced on YouTube. Not that you can't do it; it's just it's not an easy thing to do. You have to really work at it.
You're probably overwhelmed by all the videos out there, and every teacher has a slightly different approach, I would say, because there's not one way to learn guitar. There are different philosophies and different ways you can approach it.
Yeah, the connection part of it. And I'm actually overwhelmed, not finding topics, is because everything's been done over and over for all, even Marty Schwartz and Paul Davids. They revisit topics continuously because they're making hundreds and hundreds of videos.
Yeah.
But I get overwhelmed at the talent level that you see on YouTube. before I got on YouTube, I felt like I was pretty good, pretty decent player, but I feel like I'm really just in, maybe above average, but it's because there's so much talent out there. And I learn from some of these guys all the time. If something catches my eye, I'll dwell on it and at least see how I can put that in my playing, so I don't have to spend weeks and weeks on something, but at least, either a lick or a technique that I might not be using that catches my eye. Ross Campbell, just guys that really play good blues and rock. I'm just drawn to that.
It's interesting to hear from where you get inspired and which teachers you're watching. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I even all these, I love all kinds of music with the guitar, definitely all jazz, and I'm just not real good at that stuff, but I'd love to listen to it, and good players. But so I try to stay in my lane as far as what I'm learning, because you can get lost in that. And I'm old, so just got to stay in my lane.
So Willie had another question. Doing call and response of 1-4-5, do you stay within the scale or go to different chords for response?
Nice. That is a great question. For me and many other players, even though you're changing chords, most of us stay with one central scale and add elements of those chord tones as the other chords are evolving, through the progression. Because if you're changing scales or just staying only with like triads or whatever it is, you're kind of, you're not creating movement to those notes very well. It's just, for me, a central scale just always gives me a home base, and then I work around those chord tones the best I can. I'm not, the best at it either, but that's how I look at it. And I think it's a great way to point people, is to have just one central scale. Let's say if you have a 1-4-5 in A, just have that minor or major or minor or both, but that's your central home base. And that's, again, even I look at the root note A in that situation, I'll see the note, those little blocks all over the fretboard, and kind of even when it's changing to D or E, I'm still seeing how that block of notes relates to that the chord change. And another thing is you do not have to play chord tones on every chord change, and you shouldn't. Really focus on some chord, like the 1 to the 4, the D chord in the key of A, and just really work on that one, because you can play the pentatonic scale and some of your favorite licks around that, but really make sure you at least highlight a chord change, and the next time it comes around, really focus on that E chord and that kind of stuff, until you get comfortable with playing chord tones on every change. Well, I see guys on YouTube do it, but it's a very it's a mindset that I don't quite have. For me to really flow, I just have to kind of at least stay around that home base.
Do you change the scales sometimes? Because I think you sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes I change from one pentatonic to another in some cases. So especially when now I'm having feedback.
Well, there's nothing wrong with doing that either. There's players that make that sound great too. Changing, it's just it's hard for me. It sounds scaly that way, more mechanical, I guess, is another way to put it.
It's not so much that now we have feedback.
I still hear you good.
That's strange.
We're hearing ourselves.
I'm still hearing you pretty good.
I'm not sure what's going on. Change the microphone.
Hopefully you can still hear me, right?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, yeah, and also Willie was asking the call and response part of that, and definitely playing a piece of that chord as the call and the response, playing a small lick, around that chord, is a great way to play the blues, play good rock licks that way. And it just helps you with your phrasing, and really helps you make a statement and say something that way with a call and response kind of you don't want to get lost in that on every single phrase, but that can get you into a solo and really get you, connected and get you confident.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially I'm thinking when I'm having a chord that is not in the scale. So if I have a borrowed major, for example, in a minor progression, then I'm going for that major pentatonic of that chord sometimes.
Yeah,
but then I'm also looking at it very similar to you, that I'm going for a lick within that pentatonic around that root note, so around that chord.
Yeah, and that's a great way to look at it. And it sounds like you're hearing those changes, and especially if there's a note that's really outside this, or a chord that's outside the scale in the progression, that's the one you want to really focus on as far as highlighting. A lot of the stuff, pentatonic licks sound great. You just don't want to overuse them. But yeah, just highlighting those chord tones, and it's not an easy thing for beginner into intermediate player. It's not an easy thing to even hear the chord changes sometimes when you're in the heat of the tune, either with a backing track or playing with some guys. It's a focus. It's something you really have to work at. It just doesn't come natural for a lot of players.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we had another tip for a YouTube teacher or tutorial instructional channel, Guthrie Trapp.
Oh my gosh, he's a beast.
Is he?
Yeah,
I need to check him out. I'm not familiar with his channel yet.
Yeah, he's kind of opens up just playing some awesome. He's just a great player. I learn something every time I listen to him, because stuff will pop up, and I'll if it's a good player like that, I can't help but listen. And man, I like the way he got from here to here, and and he'll slowly break some stuff down. He's definitely more intermediate to advanced as far as how he's looking at things. It's going to be tough for a beginner to pick anything up from a guy like that. But he's a Nashville session player, and just an awesome guitar player.
Cool. So I need to check him out.
Yeah, a great player.
So Willie, he's going at it. Another question. Yes. Do you hear the solo in your head before playing it?
That's a good question.
It's an excellent question.
I actually, in a lot of ways, do. Maybe not every single lick, but I'm hearing where I'm going to next anyway. Maybe definitely not the entire solo, but where I'm going to next. My vocabulary is somewhat limited because I'm not, a deep theory guy. So, but I still hear those notes and hear if I'm going to run up to a bend or hammer onto something, slide into something, I'm hearing that before I do it. Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's not always correct, but a lot of times it is. But everybody makes mistakes, but that's a great question, because you want to get to that point. You want to be able to just know where you're going. You have so much confidence that way when you know, and it's something you just have to work at. Some players it comes more natural to, for sure.
Yeah, that's something I'm really struggling with. Because what I'm doing is, I know, this note will fit the next chord and so on. And I'm focusing on trying to get to that note in some shape or form. I'm not really hearing it. I know, okay, this note is good with that one. This one is. So I try to navigate to those, but I'm not hearing it currently.
Okay, so you're really focusing on the way you get there.
On theory.
It's a different approach.
Pretty much. Yeah. So I know, okay, there's the minor third from the next chord. I want to go on that minor third somehow. I'm here, okay. I may jump over with the pentatonic and
right. And that's confident. That's a confident way to do it, because you know with your theory knowledge that note is going to work. and good players just get to those notes in just a musical way that some of us, struggle with for sure. I mean, some of these players just go about that in such a natural way. It's just amazing to
My
me.
problem is that it doesn't sound natural. It sounds robotic, and very predictable.
Practice.
Yeah, practice. I really need to practice more.
Yeah, I mean, it is really, that's what it really comes down to, practicing on the right things. It's easy to get off and just, you want to have fun on the guitar, but you want to at least have some practice that you're going to accomplish some things and gain some more confidence. I'm sure you got kids, right? And so you get busy. Yeah.
I was on your community tab a couple of days ago, and you asked the question about 4 weeks ago, what's the number one thing that holds you back from progressing on guitar? And I had to be honest, just lazy.
I had to put that. I didn't initially have that in mind to put in, but as I started making
number one,
as I started making the post, it was like, that's me.
Yeah, 43% replied that. If you're honest with yourself, and we talked about that before the stream as well, you can always squeeze in each and every day 10-15 minutes on guitar. But sometimes when you're just lying on the couch, or you had a hard day at work and you just put the kids to bed, you're just too lazy. It's just that.
Yeah. But even that little bit of time, like you just said, is even if it's only 5 or 10 minutes, if you do it every day, it's like, the more days you skip in between some of the stuff that you're working on, even if you go to an hour, a couple days later, it takes you an hour to regain some of that stuff and get it back in your head. But if you do it every day, you're thinking about it during the day, it'll pop in your mind, and that's the best way to practice, is at least a little bit every day for sure. I think so.
The consistency, I definitely need to get back at it and practice more frequently, at least 4 or 5 days a week. Grab the guitar.
My daughter is also learning, and I told her, just do it every day. Be it 5 minutes, be it 10 minutes, but do it every day. And
just like brushing your teeth.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then Ryan from OYO812 is also
Thanks
in the
for
chat.
Joining.
Hi there, Ryan.
What's going on? Yep.
Charles asking if you have any advice on how to really learn the fretboard, how to unlock it.
And that was the next thing on that post, was the next, highest one. I think it rolls right into it. A lot of us are just lazy, and I'm guilty of it too, as far as learning the fretboard. And I did a video not long ago where I put the whole graph of every note on the fretboard and made a screaming sound, for a sound effect, because it's so overwhelming to try to learn it that way. You're not going to learn, even if you've got a poster on your wall with all those notes. I just don't think it's a good way to learn it. You need to do it as you're playing the chords that you use, the scales, consistently. Make sure that even if you have to call those notes out loud at times, make sure you at least know the root notes that you're, of the scales you're playing and the chords you're playing. And then you will learn those little notes that are around them. After A is always B, C, D, and E. You just you start grouping this stuff together. Then you're doing it in a kind of fun way, instead of, I just don't know many people that have studied and just memorized the fretboard and they got it. I just think, I don't teach it that way. Just having, knowing where the octaves are obviously is a huge thing, and you build off of those octave notes. So I would say that's the chords that you use all the time, know where the root notes are and know where those octaves are to kind of start walking up the fretboard. Memorize those, and you will build around that. You just will, because you'll start to know every note that's in some of the chords, and you'll just build on that.
The exercise that helped me a lot to improve on that one was to play all the same note So, for example, just take.
Let's take a guitar.
Let's take a guitar.
Easier to show. Show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell. So, you play all the A's between open and 12th fret. So then
and
up here again. And 5 again.
So you know them. You might not have got them right away, but you know where they're at. So that's
and what I've started doing then is after I did this 2 or 3 times, I started to do a little lick around that note. For example, something like this, and just very simple on one string. Yeah, now I have to do it on the 12th string, obviously.
Right.
And yeah, continue with something like this. And that helped me quite a bit also to, memorize. Oh, there is the A, there is the A, there is the A.
The notes are repeating.
The notes are repeating, and I can repeat the licks on these parts. So this is one exercise that I've used, and that helped me a lot. I neglected it lately again in general. So yeah, but I felt like I did improve a lot when applying this method. Absolutely,
yeah. I mean, as you play the A's, you can hear my guitar?
Yeah.
But yeah, just that you're playing these A bar chords, a G, but you know where that root note is. You just instantly will know where some of this stuff is, so you can play a lick right to that root note, whether it's a minor bluesy phrase or major. But just that, and that's a great way to practice us focusing. Oh, you can't really see the guitar too good.
Yeah.
There it is. You can see it now, right?
Yeah. Perfect.
Now we can see it perfectly.
We were just listening. We will put you on solo mode for a second.
I wasn't even paying attention.
We can see
there you go. But yeah, just those notes, playing the major and the minor around them. If you like blues stuff, is gold. Just something like that.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the best way to learn the fretboard is you're doing it in a musical way. You need to just call out these notes sometimes, not necessarily out loud, but it does help. And always know that G's right behind there, and the B's right there. And when you bend a full tone up every time, it's a major third. And it's just you'll know, you'll gain the what notes are around the root notes that you use all the time. It just comes with practice, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So start low, go high, back and forth. That was referring to not
I would guess memorizing the fretboard, going through.
That might be. I'm not sure.
And that would make sense.
Ray Ross saying, thanks for the awesome lessons.
Good to see you, Ray.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, good to see you, buddy.
And another question from Willie.
Willie's doing it, man.
Yes.
He's carrying us through the show.
Nice. Yeah, very good questions. So a different time or a hard time remembering different licks. Would you recommend to write them down or to video them? Video your lick.
Man, that's a tough one. When I'm learning a lick, which I do all the time, and some of these players that we talked about earlier, I will sit and just dwell on it till I got it in my head, and then even later in that same day, I'm going to grab the guitar again because I'm excited about it. videotaping would definitely be better than writing it down, because just seeing the notes on a fretboard on paper isn't the same as watching the actual. You need to see if there's the bends and the vibrato and all the things that make a lick up. It's not just the few notes. It's so I would definitely say the more you can watch somebody actually play the lick, is you're going to learn it. That's why I don't really like tabs too well, because it kind of gets you away from learning the fretboard. You're looking at something that's not even really related to the guitar other than numbers. It's a tough thing.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And you also hear it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So you also hear the feeling, and yeah, can go off from that. Yeah.
So great to see your channel grow, Rusty. The bigger it gets, the more players you help. Ray says.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it, Ray. Yeah, he's
so true.
Great subscriber. I appreciate the positive feedback, man. Kind of keeps me going, because you know how it is, guys, with these channel. It's just a lot of work, and it's pretty demanding, because you need to produce something most every week, or else people will fall to the wayside. So but I have a blast. I love interacting with some of these players, and then some of them are learning. I think they keep coming back, so I appreciate it.
That's good. This one's for you, Martin.
Yeah. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah. He says, on my comment of solos, I should imagine what a singer would do if they were singing over chords and translate that to what I'm playing.
That's a hard thing to do, though. But yes, obviously John Mayer does that real well. Just people like that take those breaks, like where a singer would take a breath. You have that space. You're playing phrases, and pausing. The kind of the call response kind of idea.
Yeah. The problem is I'm a horrible singer, so I don't want to hear myself sing.
I am too. So I still but I think even they're talking about more the idea.
Yeah.
Imagining,
yeah.
Right. And again, that's hearing things before you play it sometimes. It's a whole skill in itself.
Let it breathe.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a good way to put it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too. Definitely. That was one thing that was a huge problem for me when I was the sole guitar player in the band. So because then I would have to fill with the chord or something, and could not just let it breathe, think about it, what will be the next step, what I do. I would have to fill it with the chord, and don't really had the time to go on.
A lot of that, a lot of it's pre-planned. You know what works over certain chords and what doesn't, but it takes a lot of practice and hearing some of this stuff. It's it just seems like some of these high level players are just so like they were almost born with it, but they put in a lot of time. It's I mean, it's something I wish I was much better at, for sure.
Listen to trumpet and sax players; they have to take a breath.
Yep. You hear that a lot. Yeah, a lot of great licks come from that kind of style, for sure.
Yeah, when we play the Peter Gunn theme, I'm the one who's playing the horn. Pretty much.
And then you have to pause. And then you do it. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's just a great way to look at it. I hear that a lot of teachers relate, express it that way.
Yeah.
Other times, just play pentatonic as fast as you can and fake it till you make it.
And there's a lot of great guitar players that started that way, so that's not bad advice. You just need to kind of, some of the stuff you have to feel your way through, till you get really comfortable with some things. No doubt.
So Willie had to go. Thanks
for joining.
Appreciate it, Willie. I appreciate it, buddy.
And for the great questions as well.
Yeah, and last thing before he wrote that he had to go was he loves your style and how you explain things. Keep it up.
Oh, I appreciate it. That's great to hear that. If I only help a few players, I'm doing good. I just that's awesome.
Yeah. Willie also asked further up if we have written any songs.
You have.
I have, yes.
How many? A couple.
A couple, actually. I would say I'm in the progress of writing 2 songs with my band.
Nice.
Cool riffs. I only know the riff because no singer, no drums. You should record it with band practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have ideas. I'm lazy, like in that post I did. But I don't have a lot of stuff on paper. But so I would have to say no. As far as I've been involved with writing some stuff and recorded with some other people, but it's just something I really never got into, and it's kind of sad. When you're a musician, you should be at least expressing some of that stuff, and maybe I still will, but I'm getting pretty old.
Mixing major and minor pentatonic really is a leap forward. That's the AC/DC thing a little bit.
Almost any blues rock player does somewhat mixes. They might look at it in a different way. I don't like to teach. I like to. If you're going to mix, I think you should still pick one central scale that you're using and throw elements of the other scale into that instead of changing scales. For me, that's just it's just a lot of information. But taking the minor pentatonic. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sounds like crap, but
sounds good to me.
But yeah, taking the minor pentatonic, A minor, but throwing elements of the major into that scale. And then it really all fits for me if I do it that way. And I just did a video recently where really a great way to get going on this is focus on that root note, and you can play major or minor from that root note. You have the minor box, major right here, 2 frets up. And then you are mixing the 2 scales together. I just don't like looking at the whole scale when I'm doing that kind of when I'm teaching somebody. And maybe players, a lot of players look at this stuff differently. It's really about how you visualize this fretboard, and that's why knowing the notes is important. Everybody really visualizes things a little bit different, but you need to do what's best for you and with your goals and things you want to do, how you approach it.
Yeah. Quentin James joined us. Yeah. He says he just plays the best as he can and fix it all without the tune.
That's a good one. Yeah. That's a good one. I don't have that on my pedal board.
And also Blackjack.
Wonder if they make one for guitar.
Blackjack guitar also joined. Hey man.
Hey man, thanks for joining.
Yes.
You're always 1 fret away from a good note.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it too. Yeah.
Just a little slide.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear great players make mistakes and they recover pretty darn quickly, but it happens to everybody. Good players just minimize that.
I love the interview of Hendrix, where he was asked, how is it possible that he never hits a bad note? And he says, well, he does. He just repeats it enough that you think it's intentional.
That's good. I never heard him say that. Yes, that's good. Yeah, if you do it with conviction and like you meant it, people, yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
Repetition legitimizes, right?
Nice.
Yeah, play the mistake twice like you mean it. That's the Hendrix way. Ray also wrote that teaching his nephew made him a better player. Because, yeah, you have to think a lot about what you're playing.
That's
yeah.
I remember him saying that. Yeah, he keeps you on your toes because they start asking questions, and you want to have the right answer and the correct theory answer, because some of those theory or questions will relate to at least some theory. And the same with having a channel like this. I'm not a trained teacher. I'm just kind of showing some things that I learned through trial and error of my life. But it just keeps me on my toes as far as I'm trying to learn a little bit every day or every week, let's say, something new. So it helps me with topics in the future also. Definitely keeps me on my toes for sure.
Do you have like a long list of videos you want to make?
I just have a little dry erase board, like right over here on the wall here, and I put some ideas up there, and so I don't have a long list. I do get people to ask, they'll ask more of a specific lesson, or kind of maybe go over something more in depth on a topic I already have done. So I try to I'll put those up there too, and try to, and then as I'm in my studio here, just kind of trying to make a lesson out of them with because YouTube is a short block of time, so just trying to try to make it fun. It's not easy sometimes. You kind of, I'm just not a real excited guy like there's some channels that they come out really bold and hopping up and down, and but I'm just kind of a more lower key guy, but just
But I really enjoyed it about you, that calm and composed manner that you're bringing the topic.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's good to hear.
Keith Richards is supposed to have said, "If it sounds good, play it. If it doesn't sound good, don't play it."
I can hear him saying that, and then he'll laugh after he says it. That dude is a character. I've never met him, but I just.
If it sounds good, it is good. That's like the short way of saying this.
It rings true.
And I think either Clapton or B.B. King said it, I think. It's not so much about what you play, it's about what you're not playing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a good way to look at it. For sure.
So cheers.
Cheers, guy. I'm just drinking a little water.
Yeah, for us, it's already close to 10 in the evening, so
it's wind down time. Yeah, it's probably getting on 3 here. It's afternoon. My wife's out cooking some chicken and dumpling soup, so I'm excited. We're gonna have a nice dinner together, and
sounds great.
And I actually got to go rehearse at our church. I do play at our church a few times a month on our worship team.
Cool.
And I'm fortunate I get to use a lot of these ideas. We do some top 40 Christian music in our service, and it's just I that's why I use a Strat so much, especially in that venue. It's just I can get the clear sound and the overdriven with the same guitar, and it's. I feel alive when I'm up there, serving the Lord with what I do. It's awesome.
That's great.
A lot of my subscribers know that already. I just thought I'd throw that in, but
I've seen a clip of you playing in the church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I haven't done one in a while. The last time I did, I got a copyright strike, so I didn't because I played a piece of the song we did at church, and I got one right away. They flagged me on it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I left the video up, but you don't get it monetized if you're in that situation.
Okay.
So
it's a claim, not a strike.
Right. It's not I am not sure. I haven't had one in so long. I don't even know how they even do it now, because I'm really careful about what I post. But I did do just a 145 blues jam on a video. It was a little over a year ago, and just did it on my looper pedal, and I got a copyright strike. I was like, and I'm at the time I'm like, I'm not going to fight, because I could have easily fought that. But I wasn't. I just didn't. But it's just ridiculous, actually. I've heard of that happening to other channels too.
We didn't get a copyright strike yet, but I think. Did you play an Eric Clapton? And it was claimed by a French YouTuber making a tutorial about it. So it was not claimed by Clapton himself. Tears in Heaven on acoustic.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is just.
I mean, I would understand it if it would have been claimed by Clapton, right?
Maybe, but he wouldn't do that though. That's the thing. I think he's pretty open. There are some artists though that are not open to copying their stuff. I won't say any names, but.
So Blackjack Guitar puts it this way: if it's a good cover, it just means when it's claimed you play too good.
That may be. That's a good point.
Ryan was asking, who inspired you most to become a guitar player?
For number one, it was my uncle. I was fortunate enough. He was in his late 20s when I started playing when I was 14. He had his band rehearse in my mom's basement where I lived, and I got to see them play. And he was the only guitar player in there was a trio playing some cover songs and some original stuff, but he was so darn good at manipulating the pickup selector and volume and tone, and he just had it all. He back then it was in the 70s, so he didn't use any pedals. I think he had a Fender Twin at the time, but he just had that, and really got a lot of juice out of that guitar, and really I just saw that firsthand, so it really inspired me to play and to just have some of that under my belt. Is that because I'd love to hear there's so much going on here with even a Les Paul or any kind of guitar. There's so much, so I kind of set my amps clean for that reason, and then drive them with pedals, so that it helps me create more of the natural sound of the guitar. You don't get the high. I don't play with high gain, so it works for what I'm doing. I play with a lot of gain at times, but not like shredding kind of gain. But early on, it was definitely Jimmy Page and the players like that, and then shortly after that was Stevie Ray Vaughan. That I'm not a blues player in that way, but I was just like, that dude is playing with his heart. He didn't, and he openly admits he doesn't know theory. And same with Jimi Hendrix. These guys, they figured some stuff out, but they do know the fretboard. They might not know deep theory, but it's guys like that really inspired me initially. And it just, a lot of the reason the classic rock stuff was just bar chords and pentatonic scale, and so that excited me at the time in the 70s. So when I did finally got in a band as a teenager, we played AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, stuff that had simple chords structure, and you could do it. And I was playing 3-piece for a while, so that stuff just worked. So that's how it all started.
So, do you want to answer the question as well?
Yeah.
For me, I have to say I've played guitar when I was a kid at about 11, 12 years old, just about entering the teens, for 1 year, because here in Austria they force you to start on a classical guitar, and my parents wouldn't want me to play the electric guitar either, so back then it was also more expensive to get good equipment.
Oh yeah.
So, and obviously it's loud, so it would have been loud even if I could have turned it down, but it would have definitely been loud. So they didn't want me to play the electric guitar, and after a year I gave up on it. And for me to start playing, there was not so much a player that inspired me to get it back. Not that I know of. The thing was that my son has seen a guitar at a friend of my wife's house when they were there, and was totally drawn to it. And she started to play, and he was blown away. And at the time, he was 1.5 years, maybe something like this. And I thought, well, I started playing so many years ago. Now I can buy myself an electric guitar. I can start playing guitar
the way you want.
The way I want. I do it myself, right? And that inspired me to grab a guitar for my son in the first place. So that was the main motivation that I had to start guitar again.
Okay.
So it's not so much
not
a guitar,
not
a particular player. It fairly quickly got to be Clapton because, I had to play for my mother's wedding just a half year after I've started playing guitar.
Were you nervous?
A bit. So, I played Wonderful Tonight, and I made an own arrangement for this already, just after half a year of playing. And there should be somewhere a video about it, but I haven't heard it, and I don't want to hear it.
Well, I think you should post it.
I think I shouldn't. But
come on.
My mother was delighted. She loved it, and people also said that it was good. My sister, who is a great singer, was singing at that wedding, and I was playing to it.
Okay.
And,
sounds great.
Cool.
So for me, just to answer the question as well, I think it's not really a particular player. Like I idolized Eddie Van Halen or something like that, but I grew up with my dad listening to a lot of 80s and classic rock too, and stuff like Queen and AC/DC too. So I was always hearing a lot of electric guitar. Yeah, and he also had Van Halen records, of course. So that's just, you had to have that. And so I was always listening to that kind of music, and I kind of stuck with it, and was never a fan of hip hop or pop music too much. But I branched out. I just listened to a lot of different guitar-centric music. It was like Red Hot Chili Peppers was one of my favorite bands for a long time. So John Frusciante and his Hendrix-inspired playing, that was something I really loved growing up.
Oh, yeah, that's really good.
And so he would be some kind of an inspiration for me. But I also loved to listen to grunge. So I heard a lot of Nirvana. And it's for Kurt Cobain, it's not delicate and intriguing guitar playing per se, but it's just the raw power and the
raw.
The thing
that's it. Yeah.
Came across, and so I like that a lot, and Pearl Jam and stuff like that. So I was just always listening to a lot of guitar focused music, also metal music, which I'm not able to play because it's very technical and fast. And that's so. Maybe John Frusciante was one of the big inspirations, but I still, as of today, I love Queen. So Brian May is also a big influence for me.
Yeah.
I don't have a red special. You at least played one in the US, but
I played
or three.
four
Yeah,
in the US.
all of them you found in guitar centers.
Each and every red special I found, I've played.
Yeah, and AC/DC too, just as a gateway drug to blues rock.
Yeah, if I would have to say, the thing that got me to electric guitar in the first place would have been also AC/DC and Queen. I would say, because that was the music my parents listened all the time, and that was the thing that I would have loved to play when I was 11, 12.
I was so impressed by the Thunderstruck riff growing up.
Yeah.
I still didn't manage to play it at speed, but it's just iconic, the intro.
Yeah, just the rawness of all the players you're talking about. This just not a lot of pedals going on, just some raw guitar tone and just not being shy about nothing. They're just playing it, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's not effects heavy now that you mention it. It's true. It's not chorus and vibe and whatever.
Yeah.
Not much anyway.
No.
I love effects, but it's the whole different. It's a whole different thing. I still love that raw guitar tone for sure.
Yeah, I think just guitar straight into an amp. Sometimes that's just all you need. So, and pedals can be distracting.
It's just the especially the gigs that I do and even at church, the volume is a huge thing. So we don't have the luxury, none of us really, to crank up a 50 or 100 watt amp like some of the tones that we're kind of talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the tone really comes from, with the amp opened up to a certain point. Then the guitar just responds in a totally different way.
Yeah. And
the speaker's working with it, and you just don't get that from a digital pedal or digital amp and IRs and stuff. You get kind of that sound, but you do not get the feel of that for sure.
Yeah, it's just when you're talking about it, it reminds me the first time I've played in Switzerland.
The Plexi.
Through a Super Lead
Super?
From the late 60s. And
melted your face off.
I was there. He just invited me to jam. I think I've played for 2 years, something like this, maybe. And had my 335 with me. And he said, "You have to plug it into this." Clank.
It was probably how you even play, yeah.
Dime it. And the first chord blew me away. And the thing that really struck me was the air that was coming out of the F holes. That one.
Did you play your 335?
Yeah, I played my 335. So I was playing my 335, just hit a power chord, and the air was coming out of the 335 next to me. I had short sleeves like this, and I was like, "What's going on with my guitar?"
I believe it.
Yeah, totally new experience, and also the sheer power and volume in the room.
It's also very unforgiving. Like you hear every single thing you're doing. I mean, every nuance, and if you're hitting a wrong note or not quite fretted right, you hear everything. But you have the reward of the awesome sound of that.
Yeah.
You mentioned that for the church gigs you cannot crank the amp. Have you tried attenuators? And
I did years ago. I did. I've never really come, at least what they had a few years back. I didn't like what they did to the sound, and I have a small rev amp now that I use at church. That's what I'm plugged into right now, because it's you heard of Rev, REVV, Rev?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I just have the little G20. What's that?
Martin
Lukas is at the NAMM show.
Yeah.
From
Gear and Beer live stream from Rev.
Nice. Got to get one of them. Nice.
Not sponsored, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the G20, or which one is that? The black one?
Yeah, it's a little G20. Yeah, but you can go direct out with it. And I don't. That's not my best. It has effects loop too, so I can a lot of stuff in top 40 Christian music has a lot of effects swelling and different stuff with delays and dotted eighth and stuff. So it really retains the clarity of some of that stuff. So it's just so usable, and it is a tube amp, so it really has the vibe of a tube amp. So that's what I've been using even in my videos, because it's easy to go direct and record my videos with that.
Yeah, no miking required.
Right. I mean, I still love an amp mic'd, but it's just in a little studio and just different venues. It's just not, the sound guy does not like you very much.
So Ray wants to know, what picks and strings do you like?
Nice. For quite a while, I've been using Teodario. It is 10 to 46.
On all your guitars, or just on
Yep,
the
all
Fender
of them.
scale?
All.
Have you tried the XS
Let me grab one. I have
strings?
I haven't. I just can't remember I only remember the let me see that.
10 to 46. That's the XS.
Yeah, that's not what I'm using. I'm using what is that? The ones with the
They are
The EXL 120 or something like this.
They
the,
are
the standard
coated.
ones.
Yeah,
Those
those
the XS
coated
are
ones.
the coated ones. They have two coated ones. There are the XT and the XS. The XS are the ones that they feel fairly similar to the normal.
Yeah, that's what I
okay,
use.
but just the 10 to 46 set is
Yep.
the 9-2. I like the NYXL as well. So a lot of the D'Addario.
Nice. And I just use like a medium Fender style pick. I went through all kinds of different stuff. I do like I want some flex to it a little bit. I do a lot of hybrid picking with just my third and second finger here, instead of, so I guess, and that just evolved, just, I'm not a country picker in any way, but it just that there's so many players that I saw using just a little bit of the hybrid picking was just really intriguing, and just how you can play your double stops if you pick them with these two fingers. So I'm all them chords I'm just picking with my, the bass note I'm doing with the pick, and the other notes I would be pulling up with these two fingers, basically.
Middle and ring finger.
Yep. Something like that, but I just use a medium pick to kind of. I went to heavy for a while, and it makes you play different. If you have a real thin one, you attack this guitar a lot different. But I've been using just a I don't even know what millimeter. I think it's in the 70 range. Whatever medium is, I just have a bunch of medium different kinds of picks, and I grab them because I lose them a lot.
I think it's 0.7, yeah, something like this.
Yeah, so
then 0.8, something in between there, I guess.
Okay.
But I did use 11s for many years, just trying to do more, like what Stevie Ray did, getting that thicker sound. But it's just, especially the older I got, I just 10s seem to fit me well, and I just put the same on every guitar. They do feel different. Like on my Les Paul, the 10s feel slinky compared to this. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like a totally different vibe. But I love that size.
For me, it's mixed. I have mostly 10s as well on most of my guitars. On a few I have 9s, but I think eventually I will switch all of them to 10s because it's just nice. But Martin used to have 11s on, and every time I played the guitar, for me it was weird to bend because I was just not used to it.
Oh yeah, for sure, no doubt about it. I mean, there's still players that play with 12s and 13s and stuff. I just they're more of a man than I am.
Yeah. Ryan also commented, I need to get Rusty on one of my shows since we suck so bad. No, you don't, Ryan. I know how you guys play. You're great.
So let me.
Well, I'll have to check out his channel. I don't know if I've seen him yet.
Oh, you have one too.
It's that comment.
Let me see if I can insert the
The
link.
link.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's exaggerating though, but
Yeah, he's exaggerating big time.
0.6 medium. Okay.
yep, that's pretty close to what I'm using here.
I enjoy thin picks like that on the acoustic. On the electric, not so much. I prefer closer to 1 millimeter on electric. Personally,
To get the thicker sound, I just turn it to the side a little bit, and when then you're not getting the flex anymore. So I'm definitely doing that. And you still get some of the thicker pick sound, and then just when you lay it more flat, it's gonna give a little bit. So I definitely tilt it when I'm trying to pinch something or dig on something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trev had to go back to the grind. Thanks, Trev.
Appreciate it. Yep.
And Ryan also shared his favorite pick.
Yeah.
Played around the triangle shape.
See. And Ryan also has the 0.60 medium.
Yeah. We had that comment.
You're welcome, Ryan.
Ever play any jazz? Yeah, you mentioned that you listen to jazz. Do you play jazz as well, Rusty?
Definitely can't play it. But I mean, the closest I'm going to get is like blues chords that are jazzy. But definitely no jazz bouncing around with those stacked chord shapes and stuff. It's like that's really a whole different world than playing rock guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So the answer is no.
And while we're at it, I also posted the link to your channel, Rusty.
All right. But also he's saying he was Ray was teaching his nephew, or no, he's learning at his jazz band at school. So that's a great direction. It will really help for sure, because there's so much structure there that you're in theory of how jazz chords are built and stuff. If you dig into that a little bit, it's gonna make him a much better player for sure. No matter what kind of genre that he likes, that will help him.
Probably both of them, because he wrote, I have to learn some.
You're right. I really did try some, to learn just major sevenths and how they are built, but it's I can play some of the chords, but it's just a whole different vibe, and the way you attack the guitar. It's I don't want to be a hack at it, so I just don't do it.
Thanks, Ryan.
Oh yeah, he's up to your channel. Cool.
Nice. I appreciate it, man. I'll check you out.
My nephew's advancing way faster than
I like it. And yeah, probably you learned a lot of stuff that you shouldn't have done, and hopefully your nephew will benefit for sure.
Yeah, I would also love to play a little bit more jazzier. Not necessarily real full jazz, but yeah, in the way like, for example, Krena does.
Yeah, are you still subscribed to the learning platform?
Yeah, I'm still.
What's it called again? I forgot.
Oh,
you didn't log on recently.
I didn't log on recently. No.
The
big one.
The big online learning platform.
Where's the app?
Let's wait a second.
Where do I have it?
Because you should have plenty of chairs there as well.
Yeah, definitely. Just need to get to do it. It's just
matter of
Yeah, I
time.
love the way there's some blues players that mix the jazzy stuff. Even Stevie Ray did that on some of his stuff. That really excites me. It's
True Fire.
mixing those chords with more of a blues rock sound.
Right, True Fire it is. I have the full year subscription. And yeah, I'm doing the courses of Jeff McCallane.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That will help. That guy's a great player and teacher too. Yeah.
Yeah. There was one stream that impressed me extremely when he did the same lick in the style of Jimmy Page, Jeff Beck, and Clapton. And the fine nuances that were different from each player, and he nailed them.
That's right? Exciting. Yeah, I bet that was awesome.
That's really impressive because for me, it's hard to wrap my head around about such minor differences and being able to play those minor differences because, yeah, I tend to go into my style, how I feel comfortable playing it, but playing the same thing with just these minor differences is really mind-blowing for me. I feel this is really difficult.
Yeah, that's a mark of a great player because it's not an easy thing. We hear those differences maybe when we listen to it, but to actually do it on the guitar, that's another story.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
I can't tell you which live stream that one was. It's probably 2 years ago, something like this. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you will have to dig through plenty of live streams to find it.
Some channels, he'll have just the live streams, on a separate playlist, so it might not be real hard.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, he's been doing it for a long time for sure.
Yeah,
that's true. So Jimmy Changa also joined the chat. Hey there, and
thanks for joining.
Pretty new to playing guitar and wants to buy first electric because acoustic just doesn't fit him or her. I'm not sure. Thinking about buying a PRS SE standard and an orange 35 RT amp. Is that a good idea? Are you familiar?
Really I'm not. I don't own either one of those, but those are definitely above average guitar and amp setup, and that would do the job for probably even a gig. That equipment right there. So,
I'm not familiar with the orange. I just googled it. It's probably the Orange Crush, so it's a solid state amp.
Okay.
But I like the orange tone. So if that's something you're enjoying, another option would be a modeling amp, which models different
especially for the beginning.
Yeah, because you just have it's Orange Crush 35 RT. That's probably the one amp. It's probably just has the orange tone. If you enjoy that, that's good. But maybe a modeling amp would be also worth checking out. In terms of guitar, I think you can't go wrong with a PRS SE. I have two, and I like them a lot. Even though I have a CE 24 as well, but they're very good guitars, and I think you can't go wrong with PRS guitars.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, that's going to be good starter guitar for sure. You probably have it for a lifetime, really.
Yeah, it's probably not even the classical beginner guitar like a Squier for $300-400.
Right.
Because I think they start around $500-600, the PRS SE standards.
Definitely.
So a solid guitar, and like you said, Rusty, it's probably one you can keep for years and even gig with. That should be no issue, guitar-wise. And amp-wise, if you're really new to electrics and you want to find your tone, maybe then try a modeling amp. Maybe the
it's very possible. Depends on what your goals are. If you're planning on doing gigs and stuff, you might want to look at that different. But at least if you're going to be, really just practicing for a year or two, and staying more in the house, that kind of stuff, it's definitely a modeling amp is good because you can play at the low volumes or next to no volume for that matter with the headphones.
Yeah, and most of them have either an auxiliary in or Bluetooth where you can play backing tracks or
it's a whole learning tool. You can use, for sure.
But the Orange Crush is definitely not a bad amp. I haven't played it personally.
I haven't either. No,
you neither, so it's hard to recommend it.
But it looks cool. It's very cool.
I think the orange tone is cool, but it's unique. It's unique, especially the driven tones. It has. I have a small little the what's it called?
Terror stamp.
The terror stamp. That's one with a preamp tube in it. It's this size. It's pedal shaped.
Oh yeah.
And I really enjoy the clean tone as well. So you can also use it as a pedal platform, and that would probably work with the Orange Crush too.
Yeah, the orange clean is
better.
Yeah, even if you prefer the driven tones of a Marshall, so the other British amp brand, and Orange, you have to enjoy that sound. It's thick and heavy, sludge metal and stoner rock and stuff like that.
Ryan is leaving us.
Oh, you 812. See you, Ryan.
Thanks
Ryan.
For
stopping by, man. I'll check you out.
And a funny comment from Blackjack Guitar. Martin, have you seen Les is taking his mini Frankenstrat on a world tour?
Yes, I have seen that one.
So Les is a friend of ours. His channel is Music Therapy Les, and he's currently in Greece. And he took like one of this size Frankenstrats with him, and taking pictures with it and making videos.
Pantheon in Greece.
And he discovered a guitar there, an ancient one.
Nice.
Fun little videos. Oh, and Sam joined us as well. Long time no see. You probably saw him today.
No, I haven't seen him because the taxi did not come for him.
Oh, okay. It's a work colleague of Martin's.
Yeah, and that's an insider. He knows it.
The taxi?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll tell you later.
Okay, it's good. He's in Egypt today.
Oh, he arrived in Egypt.
No more Greece. Okay. Is he coming to other European parts as well? Do you know that?
Yeah, I think they are going to Hungary as well.
He has to.
Family
visiting.
And then there they are also doing a little boat trip, I think.
Okay. At the lake there. Lake Balaton?
No, not at the Balaton. Okay. Along a river.
Oh, and also good.
Yeah. Don't know much more. I think maybe Czech Republic or something.
It's also a nice place.
Yeah.
Prague is a beautiful city. Have you ever been to Europe, Rusty?
No, I went to Iowa once, though. Which is, I have never been out of the United States at all. I'm afraid I have just never have. I worked. I was a commercial roofer all my life, so I did travel to the East Coast and West Coast to do some big projects and stuff. But so just around the United States and
but the country's that huge. It's like when you said you never left Europe, and Europe is smaller than the US. So in terms of size, so it's.
I mean, the US has mountains and there's desert.
Everything.
I mean, it's like it's everything. Yeah, so it's some pretty cool stuff for sure.
Very diverse.
Also, now that we're talking about Les, he planned to go to Israel as well, but I hope he does not.
I don't think they're letting anybody in right this second.
I think no airplanes are entering the country. It's just.
But from Egypt, he doesn't necessarily need an airplane.
I guess the borders are closed.
I
hope they are.
So.
Wow.
The borders to Egypt. I wouldn't recommend.
Bad situation. Yep.
Yeah.
For everybody, I mean, it's going to affect. Hopefully it stops real soon here.
Mm-hmm.
Or bring.
Yeah. Why can't the human race just not get along?
it's so hard to predict. I mean, when the whole Ukraine situation started last year in February, there was some predictions saying it ends in 5 months, in 6 months, and it's been more than 1.5 years now. So it's impossible to predict.
Yeah, and we hardly talk about it anymore. At least we don't over here, because it's been going on so long. You know, at first it was like seemed more of a big deal, but obviously for them it's a pretty big deal. So
yeah, for us it's obviously much closer.
Yeah.
So we're still asking for ammunition and stuff like that. You read about that in the news all the time. Yeah, because Ukraine always needs NATO support, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's still present, and now Israel, Palestine stuff as well. So it's crazy times.
Yeah, it's high level problems here, man.
So let's get back to the fun topic.
Yeah,
shall we? So Chimichanga again, thanks for your guys' opinions. I'll check in more often from now, because you answered my question very professional and didn't just tell me, yeah, it's good or something like that. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Glad it helped. We have a bunch of gear reviews, so maybe you find one of the amps you like a lot there. Just check it out. Yeah. Videos about the Spark and I don't know.
Yeah,
many amps.
Yeah.
We don't have a video about the THR.
No, we don't have yet. Where is it? There.
Over there.
We can still do that. Yeah. Modeling amp. It's not for gigging, but this way. It's great for practicing. The Yamaha THR30. It's also modeling amp, and you can also use it for acoustics and direct out for recording. So it's pretty versatile, but it's a bit more costly than the orange one. But another option, of course.
Yeah.
I think it was covered in our top 5 picks last year.
Yeah,
but just talking about it, but not sound samples. Janice also joined the stream. Hi, Janice.
Hey, Janice.
Hello.
Yeah, Positive Grid Spark is a great amp. My nephew has a 50-watt Boss Katana. I had the Boss Katana 50 as well, and I sold it because I just played the Spark 40. I think that was right around when I sold it, because the Spark has just a very convincing modeling, and with the app, recording sounds good.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah,
the lamp.
It's space heavy. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Marty swears by the Boss Katana or Katana. That's how you say it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's that's all he uses.
Mm-hmm. Loud and proud.
Yep.
Katana, yeah. It's pretty. It's a good amp. It's definitely a good amp.
I've never tried
You
it.
can always recommend for starters as well. I think the Boss Katana 50 or 100. You can't really go wrong with that one if you're still finding your tone.
Yeah, that's important. Yep.
So I'm just checking if there are any more questions. I don't know what to do today with no lab. So on Thursday, a couple of hours after we're finished, Les has his stream, but since he's on vacation, there is no stream, and Janice doesn't know what to do. Go check out Rusty's channel and watch a bunch of his tutorials.
I appreciate it.
Some loose jobs.
Or maybe just rest Janice, because she's pretty much in any stream there is out there. So
Nice.
Simultaneously.
Yeah, sometimes even that.
All right. Do you have any more questions for Rusty? Anything
No,
coming
at
to
the
mind?
moment, nothing coming to mind. Certainly it changes when he's putting out the next lesson.
The
Yeah.
comment section.
Yeah. Speaking of that, yeah, just finding new ways of teaching. Really, a lot of the same stuff is the challenge, and I'm sure you do it even with how you present your videos with the technical side of stuff too. It's just there's so many people doing similar videos, and it's hard to hard to get, keep excited and, kind of freshen things up.
Yeah. And to also find your spot in the YouTube world.
Yeah, I definitely have an older crowd. It's like pretty high percentage of that are my age, real old. But it's a lot. I'm sure it's a lot of players is what the analytics are showing, that they're in that intermediate range, and that's what they're watching is that kind of just learning new stuff that they can add to what they already know. A lot of these players will never get deep into theory, but they just want to have more fun with the instrument, basically. And that's what we all want to do, so just trying to keep it simple and have fun with it.
Yeah. Now that you mentioned the demographics, I think if you want a younger audience, the shorts are the way to go.
And I do some, and I've had a lot of success. I've got thousands of subscribers from shorts. I amazingly, it's just hard to believe. Even ones that I thought when I was done, I don't even want to post this. But those are some of the ones that did better.
Yeah, sometimes it's impossible to predict if a video is going to be successful or it's just going to tank.
But yeah, there's a lot of value in shorts. Just to get traffic to your longer content stuff. It's you might not get the subscribers right then, but they might watch some of your stuff and.
Yeah, just a recommendation is just how the algorithm works. Yeah, Ray just wrote that you inspire him and he's 65.
So you're real old. No, I'll be 62.
Unsubscribed.
No, I'll be 62 next month. So I'm definitely getting there. But I appreciate you, Ray. He's been hanging around my videos for quite a while, and he told me a while back he started teaching his nephew. So that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's similar to what I'm doing also with my wife. She's 1 month older, and when she had her birthday, I'm always calling her old.
You have to chuckle after you say it, but did you see Ray said one more thing? He said, will he ever be as good as me? And I don't think of myself as very good, so I
this one.
But I'm sure you're working on the right stuff for sure, because by the comments you make. So just have fun with it. We're as good as we're as good as how much fun we're having. It's really, that's the important thing. Okay, there. Right on, brother. I'll never catch you.
56. Okay.
All right, Ryan.
So yeah, we're the younglings here.
Definitely.
Nice.
Ryan was also asking where Rusty is from. Did we cover that one?
Yeah, we did briefly talk about it, but I live right outside Chicago, Illinois, in the U.S. But it's a town called Aurora, just a few miles west of Chicago. So I just always say Chicago, and I laughed at earlier just because man, he's from Chicago, man. It just sounds exciting, so I say that, and everybody knows where that's at. So
Ryan's from Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Tennessee.
I've been through there for sure.
Oh, Jenny's 71 on Tuesday, so happy birthday.
We've had an older crowd here.
Next Tuesday or last Tuesday?
Good question.
That could go either way. Yep.
Lawrenceburg. Okay. Lawrenceburg, Muscle Shoals, Alabama too.
Yeah.
Nice.
Next Tuesday. Okay.
Next Tuesday.
On the 17th. Cool.
So I need to make myself a reminder to congratulate her on the 17th.
Yep. In one of the live streams.
Yeah.
I have one more question, Rusty. I was thinking about that when I was watching your videos and going through them. I was wondering, did you ever think about or plan to make like instead of videos covering one topic, like a full course, because a lot of YouTube teachers have dedicated courses you can book online and stuff like that, and they promote it heavily on their videos. Did you ever think about something like that?
I definitely thought about it. That's a lot of work. That's where the lazy part comes in. But I do get asked that quite often. And even I don't know if I'll ever go. I'm really content with, growing like I am, and I because I'm retired now. I just retired in January from my full-time job, so I get to spend time with my wife and grandkids and our kids. So I don't want to dig too deep into another facet of this teaching, but I want to group some lessons together that do almost the same thing. Start at a beginner level of a topic and work through toward advanced, the things you would have to do for chord tone soloing, for example, or things like that. But group a few videos together so there's something to grab onto and be there for a beginner or more of an advanced player. That's definitely what I'm going to do in upcoming here over the winter, getting some of the grouped things together so I can kind of. I've been asked about that before, and a lot for private lessons the same way. I'm selfish with my time, but it's for my family. So because obviously a YouTube channel just takes a big chunk of time, just that in itself. And it's been really profitable now. It took me a few years, but it's really it's a very good income. I'm just amazed. I never really thought it would ever be that, but it again, I have to continually do 1 or 2 videos a week. It's a lot of work, a lot of time. But I do enjoy it. I love playing and teaching for sure.
That's great.
Now I got one more question.
Okay.
So in a solo, when do you decide, or how do you decide when you're doing double stops so they don't feel put in randomly?
Again, it goes back to almost like hearing something before you play it, and I know everybody's not really there, but I at least, especially for something as pronounced as a double stop, I'm hearing what that's going to sound like wherever I'm putting it in a solo, and if I'm going to keep digging on it or so if I'm in A, I know what that's going to sound like if I come up to it. Picking it, or I'm doing it more of a hybrid picking, more of a Billy Gibbons kind of sound. So I know I use only a handful of double stops on more of a rock and blues, but more on the cleaner side, like stuff I do at church will be more of a, I'm using some triad shapes. More, but again, I'm hearing those little sounds before I play them, and even that with some of the notes. But I'm not real fluent in it. I still have to really think about this stuff. I'm just a kind of maybe above average with my playing. I feel, but I do think of it that way. For anything I'm playing, I keep that central scale and then use double stops, different tools around that scale, keeping in mind, because that scale is going to keep you grounded at home base.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah. But you guys are doing a couple guitar builds. So it looks like a lot of work, guys.
Yeah, I'm doing 2 guitar builds right now, and I should have taken the piece with me.
Oh yeah,
I had it. Yes, no. On Tuesday, I was also here at Lukas' place, and they got the. You may have seen it on the short, that demo piece that I've used for trying out the colors for the 335 for my daughter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see that part. But that's, I mean, just what you're doing is, it's so much work.
Yeah.
It looks like you enjoy it, though.
That's the veneer, the piece of the veneer where he's trying to burst. Purple burst?
Yeah, purple burst.
That's unique. That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
There's Gibson-inspired color, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Gibson-inspired color, but in the sun it looks way brighter. So the colors that I'm using, that water-based stain that I'm using, is extremely sensitive to the light. So when I'm having it in here, it's a lot darker and it looks really purple and not that pinkish that it looked like on that picture. And it can really transform. It's the same with that PRS build I did. You also have these orangey colors in the green that I've made, and the green shifts also from really strong and bright to rather dark when you're not pointing light directly at it. And it's the same with that one. And I have 2 builds. One is the SG style build that I'm building for myself. That one will get the piezo bridge in it. And my friend Lawrence Petros from LPD Pedals designed a buffer preamp for me, so I can then go with that one right where I would go with a magnetic pickup. So it looks, from the pedal view into the guitar, it looks just like a magnetic pickup with the with all the inductance and everything. And with that, I can make it with the push-pulls that I can exchange either the bridge pickup or the neck pickup for the piezo pickup.
Yep.
Now I've got it. And then I can blend it with the other pickup in the middle position, for example.
That's going to be pretty useful, yeah.
And that's what I'm building there with that SG build for myself. So in the neck there will be a classic 57 Gibson pickup, and in the bridge I bought Pearly Gates pickup. So those are the 2 pickups in that one. And on the build for my daughter, because I had to promise my daughter to build her a guitar as well, the green PRS style was built for my son. And if he ever starts playing guitar, he will get that guitar. And
no questions asked.
No questions asked. Yeah.
All right.
That's his guitar. So that was the condition. That was what we agreed upon, because he was looking over my shoulder while I was browsing guitars, and he pointed at a green PRS and said, "I want this one." I said, "Well, if you learn guitar, you can have such a guitar." And he said, "Okay."
Hopefully that motivates him to do it.
Is he still learning the violin?
He's not. So he started learning violin later on, and but I clicked on the picture and it was one of that private stock guitars worth 10, 12K, something like this. I'm like, well, I can't buy you that. I'm not that rich.
Selling the car now.
Selling the car, the apartment, everything. So I've asked him if I could do a build for him and build it myself, and he agreed on that. And so I built that first guitar kit that I've made. And obviously I had to promise the same thing for my daughter. right? Just fair if she gets the same opportunity.
Yep.
And she learns guitar. So yeah, I'm much more likely to have to give her that guitar than with the green one to my son.
Don't get too attached to it.
Yeah, I should not get attached to it. No.
But it's still fair. You might
Maybe
have to borrow it.
Yeah. I think it's a 335 on a little girl would look funny.
Yeah, she will have to grow into it. But she chose the 335 because I was playing mostly my red 335. So that was the shape that she liked the most. And then she has seen a purple burst from Gibson. And she liked that color. And yeah, so my goal was to replicate that purple burst. And maybe it will look even cooler than that purple burst, especially with that color changing aspect of it.
Yeah.
And it's not a flame maple, it's a quilt maple.
It's a quilt maple. So it's a quilt maple top, cool, with that purple burst on it. That one will also have the Jimmy Page wiring. I would change that one up slightly because I want to give her the 50s wiring in it. Mine has a modern wiring. And yeah, classic 57 and classic 57 plus in the bridge,
like yours.
Yeah,
that's
so
quite a lot of stuff, a lot of projects going on.
Yeah, I try to work on it once a week, so maybe I might be able to finish one for Christmas, maybe.
Which one?
I think I'll try to go with the 335 first.
Okay, cool. Christmas. It's 2.5 months.
Yeah, that might be possible because the finish, a big part that takes time is the finish. I will have 2.5 months. I will have to
30 layers of true oil.
Yeah, 30 to 40 layers of true oil. On it, sanding it down every 10 layers or so, and it takes about half a day to a day until it's dried enough until I can apply the next layer.
Time consuming.
Yeah, that's time consuming, and even with that, the layers are so thin you pretty much feel the wood, so it's extremely thin. Yeah, clear coat on top of it. Yeah,
nice.
So some special things to do.
For sure.
Yeah, Charles says you can say that again. A good finish takes a bunch of time.
He knows.
If you want to see crazy guitars, Rusty, you will also want to have a look at.
No, I have seen some of that. He's got some really cool stuff. I mean,
yeah,
one of a kind stuff for sure.
Yeah, that fabric topping that he does, and now with that Warlock style guitar, man, I wouldn't have the patience for that. Yeah. How much Angus do you want? Yes.
Yeah, the Warlock shape is crazy with the fabric.
Yeah.
A lot of work. Ryan saying a 3/4 Fender Stratocaster for son and never grew to it, but it's kind of nice to have it in the family. Yeah, it's a fun guitar, 3/4.
Yeah, I bought that mini Strat, that pink mini Strat for my daughter as well.
Is that also a 3/4?
That's also
okay.
It's just that one Ryan stock. She already has that one. Sometimes she even plays on it, even though she's not supposed to buy her guitar teacher.
Just an nylon string, classical. Yeah. Boring. No. That's not the same in the US, right? When you don't have to learn classical or Western. If you want to play electric, you play electric.
Well, it depends on what family you're in. I mean, it's there's definitely families like that in the US for sure. And I mean, that training is really
German and Austrian origin, probably.
But the training is good to have, but it's just hard to keep someone that young unless they really enjoy classical music. You're not going to be excited about what you're learning. I mean, that's the only way you're going to be good at something is to be excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, I really love. I watch classical guitar players, and it's just amazing. But I'll that wouldn't have excited me if I was forced to do that early on. But the U.S. is pretty open, and when my mom let me crank up amps and stuff, I was pretty fortunate. But wild ride.
What mean did I say?
That's just mean, Martin. Not sure.
Do you remember, Rusty, where I was mean?
What? No.
Ryan said, that's just mean, Martin. Not sure what he's referring to.
Because she's not allowed to play this thread, maybe? Not sure.
Oh, I let her. It's the guitar teacher that does not want her to play it. That's...
Not you being mean, yeah.
No, it's not. If he's referring to that, yeah, it's not me. I'm the one sabotaging the teacher.
So he's complaining about you then, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. Should we wrap it up or give the guys in the chat one more chance to ask Rusty a question?
Yeah, we have. Let's wrap it up at hours.
Couple of minutes. So a couple of minutes left. If you have another question for Rusty, just shoot it. Go ahead.
Do it. Yes.
Yeah, Rusty, I just want to thank you a lot for your time, for spending 2 hours, your precious time with us, and not with your grandkids.
No, this was a blast. Yeah, I'm glad you guys asked me again, and we'll do it again sometime down the road here, and just
absolutely.
Yeah, we love to have you on. You are always welcome. So maybe in next year again, same time,
and hopefully
September, October.
Maybe, but yeah, summertime is not good for me. So
okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
so we can think ahead and plan for September, October.
Maybe one earlier in spring.
Or in spring.
It's possible. Yeah, we'll talk and go from there. Yeah.
Cool.
I love it.
Year instead of 1 year, because 1 year is really a long time.
It really kind of drew out that. It was a lot of things happened to both of us during that. It's like a long time. On YouTube, a year is a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're having the echo again. Like just put it in the comment as well.
Thanks, Blackjack.
I'm not sure what to do about it. I tried to echo cancellation. It's not working.
Maybe on the Rusty side.
Do you have us on speaker or do you have?
No, I have all my volumes down.
That's strange.
I'm not sure what it is then.
Hopefully, most of it came out good during the.
Not all the time. Not too bad, I think. Great to meet you, Rusty from Ryan.
I appreciate it, Ryan. You too, man.
Thanks, Blackjack.
Better now, Charles? Maybe we're sitting too close.
Better like this?
Yeah, don't move.
Still a little echo. Oh yeah, Blackjack also subscribed. Cool.
We just have a little slap back.
Slap back. Yeah.
Thanks so much. Yes.
Yeah, Charles. I think we won't fix it today. Sure. Close that.
Yeah, but we are not in StreamYard, so those should not record anything.
Man, you're getting a lot of subs tonight. I mean, for a channel of your size, it's probably not a big outlier, but you got a few subs from our community at least.
Good, that's awesome. I appreciate it, Ryan. Yeah, yeah. I actually get subs just disappear. I mean, hundreds at a time on
Wow.
my channel, hundreds. And I'm not, there's a lot of reasons why they disappear at times. Like if you have, let's say, quite a while ago, I'll have a big video, let's say, and you get, a lot of subscribers. Maybe I think if you don't watch someone for a certain amount of time, something happens. But anyway, they disappear on me. So it's
sometimes it might be also bots. We had a couple of days where we had an extraordinary high number of subscribers for our size, and a few days later we had a lot of unsubscriptions. So yeah,
and it's weird. In the studio, you can see that it's been closed accounts and so on. So we lost them due to that, probably bots, right?
Accounts being closed by YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can see that happening too. You get a lot of people that you just can't really figure YouTube out. Really, I try to, but it doesn't work.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
You even managed to get big enough that the scammers are coming for your comments, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And it's just I wish I get a hold of that guy's neck, but they're actually impersonating me and trying to get
same picture.
Yeah, I mean that's against the law, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, nobody's going to jail for it. But it's just
you don't know where they sit. Maybe there are no laws. No proper law.
But I try to get that stuff off my channel as quick as I see it. But I report them. I hide the user from the channel, and they're just using multiple identities.
They're coming back.
They have to.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, big channels go through it too. So they're just after people, and just those few people that might be, click on the wrong thing, or send them something, or act like they won something.
Yeah. But it shows you that you made it big.
Like a compliment.
Yeah. It's been pretty slow lately. Honestly, once the summer is usually fairly slow, but once the winter settles in, it should there's usually just more viewers, at least in the US there is. So we'll see what happens. Have fun with it.
So if you have multiple channels, that might also be a reason. Janice just wrote a friend had subbed to her with 11 channel names, and YouTube removed them all. 11 channel names. Yeah, that's like IP address.
Yeah.
They can, of course, find out that that's the same person behind it, so maybe then they delete it.
Yeah, they don't always find it out right away, but at some point they do.
Yeah, then they will just remove that. Okay.
If you check your algorithm of the
live chat, they dropped the count halfway through. I'm not sure. People dropping out as well.
They dropped. Oh, they didn't show how many. Well, that would be sad if they dropped off, but.
Not sure how that works.
Yeah, whatever.
we can change that.
Yeah. So we can go to the to that quote I told you earlier today. I'm always telling my wife, where she's someone who's easily stressed out by things, and I've heard that quote once from some I think it's from some Indian guy who said, can you do something about it? Then why worry? Do something about it. If you can't do something about it, why worry? You can't do something about it. Right?
One more time. No, that's very true, though. That's very true.
So there's that. With that,
keep calm and play guitar.
Yeah.
I could do something about that.
Exactly. You wanted to wrap it up?
So
Okay.
let's wrap it up.
All right,
Thank you
guys.
so much for coming once more, Rusty. It's
You
a pleasure
too.
having you.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked me. I had a blast. It's fun hanging out with you guys.
Absolutely. It was
Thanks,
great. Thanks.
So
Okay.
also thanks to everyone in the chat for contributing to this show, for asking the questions, for being with us, for watching it. Yeah.
I appreciate it too. I love the questions. Yep.
It's been a blast. Thanks, everyone, and have a good one.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
See you guys. See you soon. Yep.
See you,
everyone.
Rusty.
Yep.